A stacked roster that included a future Major League Baseball All-Star, a back-and-forth battle that saw Alex Gordon steal a state title with a pick in overtime, and how did a sophomore quarterback lead a dynasty and deliver one of the most iconic finishes in state history? This is a Nebraska High School Classic. And welcome back to Nebraska High School Classics. I'm Larry Putney. This time we head to Memorial Stadium for a cold November night in 2000, and it was the Class A state football championship game. Lincoln Southeast and Creighton Prep, two powerhouses, battled through regulation and into double overtime. The Knights sealed a 14-7 win with a game-ending interception that capped off Southeast's undefeated season at 13-0 and added another stellar chapter to a storybook rivalry with Prep. Here with me now, quarterback from that 2000 team, is Nick Bondick. I go back to this game, and I was watching it the other day. Jeff Christie, Jake Muehlheisen, Alex Gordon, Brandon Rigoni, Barrett Rude, Bo Rude, Dane Todd. I'm just wondering, all these very successful athletes, what happened to you?
Tell me about it. But my job was easy. When you list off all the talent we had, my job was to not fumble the snap and make sure the ball got to all the guys that you named. Yeah. But it truly was an amazing period of time for Lincoln Southeast athletics and in particular football. That team was special with talent.
It was unbelievable. All right, so take me back, double overtime. You scored the game-winning touchdown. Yeah. What do you remember about that?
What I remember about it was that the play actually came in wrong, meaning the tight end was split to the right side. It should have been to the left side. So I remember calling the play, breaking the huddle, getting to the line, and it kind of hits me, oh my gosh, Derek Katz, our tight end's on the wrong side. At that point, I was surprised at how calm I stayed in my head. I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. You're either going to run or you're throwing this thing to the 50th row out of the end zone. Right. And what ended up being incredible about the play is Derek Katz is running a little crosser to the left side. We play fake to Barrett Rude, the best player in the state. So it ends up being genius because everybody flows to the left side of the field. And when I turn, Bo Rude's able to seal a guy in. Jake Muehlheisen is able to seal a guy off. And when I turn, I see just a lot of green grass, and I took off. And my only rushing touchdown of the entire season was that one right there. Wow. And so it's just very fortunate that it ended up working out correctly and that I didn't call timeout or anything to get the play back to where it needed to be.
You know, when you think about it, it was Chuck Mazursky, Tom Jaworski, 70 years between the two of coaching on the sidelines, historic careers, you know, more than 15, 16 titles between the two of them. Were you aware and cognizant of kind of that moment and how big that was at the time?
Yes.
Really?
I was. And a lot of that is a product of, I come from a family of coaches where a lot of our Thanksgiving and Christmas conversations were centered around high school football and high school basketball. So I was given that kind of history of what high school football and basketball and the legends of the game really were. And so I know for me, I just felt a profound sense of duty to, it was my turn, our turn to kind of have the program, make sure, for lack of a term, you don't screw it up. Because we were handed a great thing. We have an amazing culture. We have a legendary coach in Chuck Mazursky. And it was our turn to hold this thing we call Lincoln Southeast football, make sure we carry it through and pass it on. And certainly when you see the C on the helmet and Prep on the other side, you know what's coming. We knew we were going to have to play really, really good, and we knew it was going to be a battle. We didn't necessarily think it was going to be a double overtime battle, but it was a special night.
So this is the 25th anniversary this year. I hope something special is planned at some game at Southeast this year. I hope. Yeah. But when you think back, 25 years later, what does that championship mean to you?
Oh man, I think the thing that I felt was I really, really didn't want to let down Barrett. I really didn't want to let down the seniors. I mean, I'm a sophomore, as you pointed out. I didn't really take over the full-time starting job until, the fifth or sixth game of the season. And I felt like every day I had to earn it and earn everybody's trust. And so I think for me, after the game, I think I felt a profound sense of relief that I didn't let those guys down. I remember after all the hoopla died down in the locker room, there was a moment where it was just me and Barrett. And Barrett and I really embraced, and I just remember just this enormous exhale for me that I didn't let a guy like that down, and that I didn't let a guy like Chuck Mazursky down, who was just a legend, built an unbelievable culture. I've been a part of some pretty special places, Dana Altman, Creighton, Bill Self, Kansas. Chuck Mazursky, Lincoln Southeast football was unique and special. So I felt like we knew we had the best team. We knew we had a special group. And as a quarterback, I felt like what you need to do is steer this ship and make sure that it gets to where it needs to be, and that's a championship.
We can't leave, you don't need to comment on this, without saying that Alex Gordon was celebrating and never got to this podium to get his medal from Chuck Mazursky. Mazursky's holding the medal looking for Alex Gordon, and Alex is out there somewhere. Nick, thanks for joining us. It's a great time.
You got it. Somewhere Alex Gordon got his medal, though. That we know that's for sure.
It was the fourth year these championships were played at Memorial Stadium, and really the two powerhouses at the time in the state, in Creighton Prep and Lincoln Southeast, playing for the Class A state championship back in 2000. Here's Barrett Ruud, future Husker. He had 14 carries, 105 yards, scored a touchdown. He really led the way on the ground for Southeast. Quarterback back then, Nick Baugh. Nick throws to Derek Petz, and Petz grabs it all the way down inside the 5-yard line. They would hold, though. No score, believe it or not. Junior Jays, Dan Burrows to Jim Hendricks. Burrows wasn't afraid to go to the air from his own end zone either. Completion here out near the 20-yard line. Another carry here by Dane Todd, another future Husker. Here's the toss to Barrett Ruud, again 105 yards in the ground. Doesn't look like a linebacker here, does he? Looks like a running back. Great carry there. And the Knights would end up punching it in for the first touchdown. Nick Baugh hands it off to Barrett Ruud. Ruud finds that corner. And it's 7-zip, Knights on top. Junior Jays come right back. Dan Burrows to Cortland Jimerson. And look out, Jimerson is gone. And we are knotted at 7 as the quick strike offense of Prep makes it 7-7. Burns then intercepted by Teddy Swope in the end zone. Field goal attempt to win it is blocked, and we head to overtime. And in overtime, Nick Baugh fakes the handoff, takes it himself, and the future collegiate basketball player gives the Knights the lead at 14-7. Scrambled, intercepted, game over, and Southeast wins its 7th state championship. Lincoln Southeast's double overtime state championship proved that legends are born in high school. Keep the memories going. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and dive into another Nebraska High School Classic. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more unforgettable finishes and historic performances.